Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace Pandit SRIVAS Prabhu. And all glories to assembled Vaishnava devotees. Well, devotees, we all know what a special day today is. Today is Shri GAURA-PURNIMA, where the most magnificent form of the Lord is appearing. And somehow, today is also lunar eclipse, just like it actually happened. So, Prabhuji, Pandit SRIVAS, we thank you so much for being here with us, and we put the ball in your court. You take it over from here. Thank you so much.
All right. So my very respectful and humble obeisances to all of you. And as Sadeh Prabhu was mentioning, about 540 years ago, I mean, almost to the day, if you look at the lunar calendar, it was the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the interesting part is there has not been a lunar eclipse on this very day till now. So it makes it all the more remarkable. So let's just go deep into it, dive right into it, and so on. But before we do that, a very quick housekeeping aspect. I am in India right now, not very, very far from Vrindavan. So in India, you have to have a lot of pious credits to get good bandwidth. And I don't have that many pious credits. So if by chance my bandwidth becomes a little choppy, then somebody just let me know and I'll turn off my video. Okay, so then that way you'll be able to see and hear better. Okay, so as Sadev Prabhu mentioned, we are here to talk about Lord Nrsimhadev, right? No?
Lord Chaitanya.
Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Yeah. All right. So good. Then thank God I didn't prepare much for Lord Nrsimhadev's appearance. So yes, so we're here to talk about Lord Chaitanya. And as always, we will start with some Mangalacharan and then we will go from there. Okay? Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Viraya Nashta Prayeshva Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Lakshay Shiptascha Kamadi Tarangamate Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanara Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Vacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnadepyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Sahadev Prabhu, I have an interesting question for you. Who is God? What is his name? What is the name of God?
God, to my limited understanding, is the cause of all causes, but...
Oh my gosh, just give me his name.
Oh, you said who?
Yes, who? What is his name?
Okay, that is Krishna.
Krishna. Everybody thinks Krishna is God. But Krishna is not God, Prabhu. Krishna is half God. Krishna and Radha together is God.
Yes.
Of course, this has to be understood from not from Tattva, but from rasa standpoint.
Ah,
So
okay.
today we are going to talk about full God. So it is a interesting conversation. It is going to be, I won't go very, very deep, but at least a little bit of it we will cover in depth. And I would love to hear all of your feedbacks at various intervals. Okay. So the question then that should first come whenever we hear about God is, well, why does God appear? And if we look at it purely from the eyes of the Bhagavad Gita standpoint, then very clearly Krishna mentions when he's talking to Arjuna, he says like, hey, you know what? I've always been here. You have always been here. I remember my previous appearances. You don't. And this is why I appear. This is when I appear. This is where I appear, and so on. And so he gives these two important shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita, which should be the tip of our tongue for all the devotees who are gathered here. 4.7, 4.8. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrijamyam. And then paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaturshkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuga yuga. Okay. So he talks about when and where does he appear. He says yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrijamyam. So he says whenever and wherever there is decline in some religious practice, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Okay, so in a way, you could say at a 60,000-foot view, he also not just talks about whenever and wherever, he also talks about the reason. He says when there is a predominant rise of irreligion, but it's not specific enough. So in the next shloka, he specifies that, and he gives three much more granular reasons of his appearance. He says to deliver, number one, to deliver the pious, okay, paritranaya sadhuna. Then he says vinashaya chatushkritam, to annihilate the miscreants. The third reason he gives is dharma samsthapan narthaya. Okay, so let's apply this template to some of his prominent avatars and to see if this three reasons, delivering the pious, annihilating miscreants, re-establishing the principles of religion, apply to these prominent avatars. So as you can see in the picture over here, we have Lord Nrsimhadev. Did he come to deliver the pious, annihilate miscreant, re-establish principles of religion? Well, he definitely came to annihilate the miscreant. He definitely also came to protect his devotee Prahlad. He may have not necessarily very directly re-established the principles of religion, but through the act of annihilating the miscreant Hiranyakashipu, he did re-establish the principles of religion. So that was one. What about the one over here, on which is Vamandev? So yes, again, you know, annihilating the miscreant, and miscreant over here was not a gross miscreant like Hiranyakashipu, but Bali Maharaj, but more to deliver the pious. He came because the kingdoms were no longer in the control of his devotees, and also to re-establish the principles of religion, again, not directly, but indirectly. Parashuram over here, again, annihilating miscreants, maybe not so much of re-establishing the principles of religion. Then you have so many different examples over here. We won't go through each one of them, but generally speaking, a couple of patterns are becoming visible to us. So one, yes, in most of the avatars that we see over here, one or more of these principles apply. Sometimes a combination of multiple principles, and sometimes only one principle, so on and so forth. Okay, so this gives us the major reason about why God appears as narrated by him to Arjuna in none other than the Bhagavad Gita. So we will apply this template now to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is this how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears? So in Srimad Bhagavatam, so this is King Nimi, Maharaj Nimi, is having this conversation with this Nava Yogendras, these 9 Yogendras, which are these saintly people who've come to his kingdom. They have visited his palace, and Maharaj Nimi recognizes that these are not ordinary people. He receives them very nicely, he offers them seat, and he asks these incredibly beautiful and very deep questions, reflective questions. And in the course of the responses to these questions, the Nava-Yogendras gave Maharaj Nimi the blueprint of how to progress, how to start and how to progress and how to eventually achieve the final goal of bhakti. Okay. And in one of those conversations, this is mentioned, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, Sango Pangastra Pashadam, Yajnai Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Hisu Medasha. Okay. Okay. In the age of Kali, so so let's go almost like word by word. Krishna Varnam can be interpreted in a couple of different ways. So one is this person that we are going to talk about is in the Varna of Krishna. So he's in the same jati, he's in the same caste, he's in the same class as Krishna. And who can be in the same class as Krishna? Krishna himself. So he is Krishna himself. That is kind of understood over here. But then there is another way to interpret Krishna Varnam. That is, whenever he does Varna, he speaks, he only speaks about Krishna. Okay, so this is a couple of different ways. So he only chants about Krishna, only talks about Krishna, only preaches about Krishna, and so on and so forth. So he's constantly doing that. And Tvisha Krishna, Tvish a Krishna. Okay, so his complexion is a Krishna, is not blackish. So although he's of the same Varna as Krishna, his complexion is not blackish. And he comes with something. He comes with Sangha, Panga, Astra, Parshadam. Okay, so Sangha, Upanga. So Sangha is like his limbs. So this is Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, and so on. Upanga, that is sublimbs. These are devotees like SRIVAS. Astra is weapons. So as we know, one of his primary weapons was the holy name, and also preaching. And his Parshadam, his confidential associates like Gadadhar Pandit. And why does he come? He comes to do Yajna Sankirtana Prayer. So he comes over here to do a yajna, to establish the yajna of Sankirtana. Sankirtana is the congregational chanting. And this is mentioned by whom? Yajanti hi Sumedasha. The people who are intelligent, they are the people who worship him. Okay, so now you put all of these together. So the translation then will read, as you see over here, in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Now, remember our template previously, right? So we had three reasons why God appears: deliver the pious, annihilate the miscreants, re-establish the principles of religion. So let's see if that same template now applies to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, given the definition that we have just read. Okay, so let's see. So re-establishing the principles of religion is front and center. It stares right at us, at our face, with this whole aspect of Sankirtana. So we can very nicely say that, yes, one of the things is already checked out. Deliver the pious, we talk about his Sangha and Upangas and Parshadams. So in a way, indirectly, we could say that, yes, he's come over here at the request of some of these incredible personalities. He's come to give them the association, give them his love, walk with them and so on. So delivering the pious, indirectly, we could say that this is established. Annihilating the miscreants. So the word astra over here means that this weapon has to be used somehow. Otherwise, why would he even come with a weapon? So in a way, you could say, again indirectly, that yes, so he's come here to annihilate someone, something. So what are the miscreants that he's annihilating? I'm going to pause here and hear your reflections. So what miscreants are we talking about with respect to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance? Anybody would like to share?
I would say Jagai Madai.
Okay. Jagai Madhai, okay. more? So just to annihilate these two miscreants, he's come.
Secondly, I would say to destroy the non-devotees.
Okay, so if you narrow down the very broad definition of non-devotees, so narrow it down further, you would say that
Impersonalism.
yeah, impersonalism, 100% right. Yes.
Mhm.
So this is a very important thing, my dear friends, because you see, impersonalism is worse than atheism. When we talk about atheism, we are coming to a point where we are saying, okay, somebody does not believe in God. But when we're talking, and so that could happen because of ignorance, it could happen based on innocence, it could happen based on lack of exposure, lack of association, and so on and so forth, right? But if you look at impersonalism, impersonalism more often than not means that God is not a person. And the vocabulary used by a section, the largest section of impersonalists, who are Mayavadis, is I can be God or God can be like me. So, in other words, God, I'm also God, you're also God, he's also God, and so on and so forth. So, God can be like me. Or I am who I am, but eventually, after a period of time, I will become God, and so will you, and so will that other person. And so either you pull God down to your level or you pull yourself up to God's level. Okay. So, this is much more dangerous. It is much more difficult. In order to annihilate these miscreants, now Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. So we can conclude, therefore, that the three major reasons as mentioned by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita also apply to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But is this really the reason why Krishna appears? So if we look at the blueprint of Lord Krishna's life, we will see that although in the Bhagavad Gita he mentions these three reasons, this is each of those things can be done, delivering the pious, annihilating miscreants, reestablished, can be done by any of his associates. After all, my dear friends, where are we? We are just in the material universe, which is what? Which is just coming out from the pores of the body of one of the expansions of his expansion of the expansion of the Lord. So the Lord really doesn't have to come over here when interfere in the lives of uh, just jivas who are by stature infinitesimal and try to do all of those things. Any of his associates, on any of the expansions of his associates, is more than capable to do all of those activities. Okay. So then why does the Lord really appear? And so you see this beautiful collage of pictures. And we see that, well, when he was born, his birth was extraordinary. He was born in a prison. And then, before he was born, several of his brothers had perished. Then when he was born, it was raining. The guards who were guarding the prison went to sleep. The shackles came off. He has to be taken from one city to another city in the middle of the night. And then a huge snake appears. I mean, the birth is extraordinary. How many of us can even imagine having a birth like that? And then when he's just a few days old, he kills this demoness who is several miles in length. We cannot even imagine that. Even when we hear about it, we question the veracity of it, the validity of it, right? In our mind, because it's impossible for us to fathom, like, how is that possible? His first roller coaster ride is on Trinavarta, right? So these amazing things which he does, these extraordinary feats, these unmatched, unparalleled, unheard of activities, pastimes that he does throughout his life, throughout his appearance, throughout his existence over here, is converging on one and one reason only, one and one aim, one and one goal, to attract us towards him. So, my dear friends, why does God really appear? God really appears to attract us towards him. He loves us. He knows we are stuck over here. How can you attract somebody who doesn't have an understanding of where they really need to be to, well, call the marketing department, dial 1-800-marketing. What is 1-800 marketing? The pastimes of the Lord, the appearance of the Lord. So this is why he comes. So 1-800-marketing comes over here and says, this is what you're missing. So please stop whatever nonsense you're doing over here. Come over here, because the grass is definitely greener on this side. Okay. So now if we apply the same template, we have a better reason, deeper reason, and a different reason than what the Lord, what Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita. We apply now this particular reason to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life and see whether this also applies to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so how would Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attract us to him? Well, we look at some of his pastimes. Even when he was born, he would not stop crying till somebody, would sing Harinam, or perform some kirtan, bhajan of the Lord, and then he would stop crying, and then they would after some time stop singing again. He would start crying. So it's extraordinary. You don't see kids like that nowadays. If you find kids crying, you give them an iPhone or iPad, and then they stop crying. So the the nature has shifted a little bit. The pastime which you see over here on the top about him playing with this giant poisonous snake, who was none other but Sheshanag, who had come to visit him. But nobody really understood that. It's just a few days old kid, and he's playing with him. So extraordinary. Then the pastime which you see over here on the bottom right is about these thieves who had come and who saw him, and they say, oh, this person must be very opulent, so let's kidnap him and take him for ransom, and so on. And he gladly went with it. He didn't cry, he didn't fight, none of that thing, but he bewildered them. And so they went round and round and round, and then they came back to the same place. Okay, so extraordinary pastime. Okay, then there are other pastimes also. His Annaprashan ceremony. Then there was a Brahmana who had come to their house and offering bhoga, but every time he would offer bhoga, Nimai would come in and eat that bhoga. We've all known that pastime, and he did that 2, 3, 4 times, and then finally he realized, actually Nimai revealed that he's none other than Krishna, the object the object of the love for that Brahmana to whom he was offering that bhoga, and so on. So extraordinary feats. Okay, then we see the discussion with Nawab Hussain Shah. This is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked all his associates to go on kirtan, and they were singing Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Srimadushadan. So this was the original saying. Later on, it was the second line was introduced, like Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. That came later on, but they were singing, and Qazi, there were complaints made to the Qazi, and drums were broken, and there was a decree passed that nobody could sing anymore. So what were some of the extraordinary feats that he did? Well, he organized the world's first recorded civil disobedience movement. Come on, come everyone. There was something also, another thing which was very remarkable. You see, they're all holding these torches. Have you ever thought about it? Like, this went on for quite some time. So where did they get so much of oil to burn these torches, which stayed lit for such a long time? It was an extraordinary feat. And then when he meets the Qazi, he talks so beautifully with the Qazi. In the initial stages, he doesn't go over there and say, okay, my dear Qazi, I've come to kill you. He comes and he talks very sweetly. He says, like, look, you are the protector of all the people over here. And so let us now have this conversation. Like, why do you think that you need to trouble anybody for this? And then the Qazi also mellows down. Of course, he's first very, very scared, and then he mellows down and he says, look, you are just like my nephew, because, I am, in a way, you could say, your uncle, and so on and so forth. So his words were soothing. His appearance was soothing. His activities were soothing. So you see, even his enemies, the people who were so-called afraid of him, like the Qazi in this particular example, eventually became attracted to him. Okay? We see further examples, like Prabhu was mentioning earlier, the deliverance of Jagai and Madai. Everybody knows this, where Jagai and Madai eventually became enamored by the Lord. In fact, they were just so overcome by the Lord's beauty and strength and compassion and the clarity of their mind. Um, uh, Eventually came to that conclusion that, oh, what are we doing? We need to take the shelter of the Lord, the shelter of the associates of the Lord, and so on. And of course, this is all Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, but this is how the Lord then attracts even the most abominable miscreants towards him. And then we see other examples also, like when he went through the forest of Jharikanda, uh, what to speak about people, human beings, even the animals started dancing. He was going on his tour, singing Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshama. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. So like that he was singing, and as he was singing, these bears, these elephants, these tigers, these wild animals, they were dancing. And they were dancing with him and with each other. This is not something that we can even fathom, forget about imitating, right? So through all of these actions, we see that the Lord attracted others towards him. And then previously, you remember, we were talking about the Sangha, Upanga, Astra, Parshadam. Okay, so the Astra part, we said the Astra part, the weapon part, was the holy name. My dear friends, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had another weapon. Can anybody guess what that weapon is?
The Sudarshan Chakra?
Not quite.
Beauty.
Okay. His beauty.
Okay.
Exactly. Anybody who came in touch with even his most sincere critics, when he went to Benares, he was criticized by this group of impersonalists. Oh my gosh, what is this sannyasi doing? He's just going around and just singing like a beggar, like a sentimental person out on the street, whereas he should now be sitting over there in his room and reading Vedanta Shastra and studying Vedas and so on and so forth and scriptures. But instead, he's out there just dancing around. So, what kind of person is? So, they were his critics. And yet, when he came in front of them, the vocabulary used was, wow, you're so beautiful, my dear kind sir, please come and you just appear, just sit with us. You don't have to sit over there where the shoes are kept. Come, please sit with us. Here's a nice place for you to be. Their heart is completely overcome with joy at just seeing the Lord. So his beauty. So through his beauty, through his words, through his actions, through his pastimes, through all of these things, his feats, the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attracted us towards him. So the template that we saw, that why does God really appear to attract us to him, definitely applies to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the conclusion that we can come to. But is this really the only reason, the only deeper reason that the Lord appears? Well, not quite. So for that, we have to go a little bit further deeper. Okay. And as we started this discussion, we went through Mangalacharan, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami does an incredible thing. He's in his 90s. He has been given the task to write about the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are pastimes which were not necessarily fully elaborated previously by Vrindavan Das Thakur, okay, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangal. So he starts this journey, and his hands are shaking. He doesn't know how much time he has left, and he mentions this in the beginning. I don't really know how much time I have left. Yet, in the beginning, he takes a lot of time to write down these incredible prayers of Mangalacharan. And then he takes some time to summarize some of these prayers. Then he takes the time to elaborate on some of these prayers. Then he takes the time to write chapters, volumes upon the further expansion of some of these prayers. Finally, like by the time you read chapter 13, then he talks about the advent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's just the exercise of it, how he goes about it, is something that we can meditate on, that what is important, what is really the pinnacle of our prayers. Okay. And in the very beginning of his Mangalacharans, in the fourth shloka, he gives this beautiful prayer. Okay. And he says, Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatirnaha kalau Samir Payutum. So he basically says, okay, actually, I'll read the whole thing and then we'll go. Samar Payitum, Unnatochvala Rasam, Swabhakti Shyam, Harihi, Purata Sundara Duty Kadamba Sandipitaha, Sada Ridaya Kandare Sfuratu Va Sachinandanaha. So Sada Ridaya Kandare Sfuratu Va Sachinandana. May this beautiful, this always remain in the corner of your heart, in the center of your heart, right? So what should remain in the Hridaya Kandare, in the cavity of our heart, right? Sada, always, what should be? So in Sfuratu, what should be manifested in the cavity, in the center of your heart? The Sachinandana, the son of Sachimata, the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. May he always remain, okay? And he came, Anarpita Charim Chirat. He came to give something, what? Which was never Arpita. Arpita means giving. Unarpita means not yet been given or never given. Okay, he has something which has never been given before. Okay, and Charim, like previously, Chirat for a long time. It had never been given previously and for a long time. Okay, and he came how? Karunaya, so Avatirna, he descended in when? Kalo, in the age of Kali, okay? Samarpayitam, to give, right, to bestow. Out of what? Out of his Karuna Avatirna. So out of his causeless mercy. Okay? He descended out of his causeless mercy. But to give what? To Ujjvala Rasam. Ujjvala Rasam means the conjugal milk, the highest Rasam, the topmost rasa, which is the rasa of conjugal love. He came to give this thing, okay? And so if we do the overall translation, it will come down to exactly what you see over here. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Okay? Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy, and now comes the main reason why he appears, to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So now we are getting somewhere. We now have a better understanding of why the Lord has appeared. So let us apply this, the principle of this. This statement makes some very almost like deep points that no other incarnation has ever offered this before. So let's put that to test. So let's look at some of these major principal incarnations that we see. Of course, you can just tell that Nrsimhadev didn't give conjugal love or didn't bestow this mercy of conjugal love. Certainly, Vaman Dev did not, Parshuram, absolutely not. But let's gravitate towards this. And did Krishna do this? Well, no, Krishna talks about bhakti. Krishna talks about devotional service. He doesn't really talk about prema. He doesn't really talk about love for Godhead at all in the entire Bhagavad Gita. All the different activities that he tells that a person should perform and what he can do, what are the gradations of ladder, what are the different types of yoga, how to, that he should offer obeisances, always think of him. All of those things are there. But the deeper, finer principles of love is somehow missing the set of his instructions. So certainly we can see that even at the core of the avatars, we don't see any of the incarnations giving us this mellow of conjugal love. So now we have a better idea about why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Okay, but is this really the reason? Is this really the only reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the deeper reason that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared? Well, not quite. So let's go slightly deeper. In just a couple of stanzas after this, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives another reason. And within this reason is really three sub-reasons, which congregate together and gives this one broader reason. And he says, desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachidevi, as the moon appeared from the ocean. So now he's giving three other reasons. What are the reasons? One, the Lord wants to understand the glory of Radharani's love. Okay. Two, he wants to understand what is it that she sees in me? What are those qualities which are in me that she alone can realize and relish and fathom? So these wonderful qualities in me or in him that she alone relishes through her love. Three, once she realizes, what does she realize? How does she do that? What is the happiness that she feels? What's the emotion that she is experiencing? The happiness that she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So today, we will talk a little bit more about this reason. But in order for us to fully appreciate this reason, we have to go and understand, we have to go and look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. So we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu more or less was here for about 48 years on this planet during this yuga. He was there for 48 years. And these 48 years, it is divided into 24 each. So 24 years in his initial life, he was in Navadvip, his childhood, boyhood, youth, married. So all of those. So this part is called as the Grihastha Lila. Okay, his residence was in Navadvip. And then at the age of 24, he takes sannyas and he moves to Nilachal, okay, to Puri. And so in the remaining 24 years, he says 18 years in Puri and 6 years he goes on a yatra to South India, other parts of India as well. He goes on this yatra and then he again comes back to Puri. Now, these 18 years that he has resided in Puri can further be divided into two. As soon as he took sannyas, he comes to Puri on Nilachal. The 6 years he spends in Kirtan. And, he stays initially in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house and so on. And then he wants to go somewhere. He wants to go to Vrindavan. He wants to go take a trip to South India. He's itching, but somehow or the other, his devotees, they love him so much that they say by one way or the other, by one excuse or the other, they keep him over there. So for 6 years, he does Kirtan Bhajan. This is also beautifully described. These pastimes are wonderfully, beautifully described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so then he goes on that 6 years yatra, and then he comes back, and for 12 years he stays the last 12 years of his life, he stays in Nilachal. And so I've given the shlokas over here. I'll share this PPT with all of you later on. Okay. So this CC Adi 1339, it summarizes this. Dwadasha Vatsare Shesha Rahila Nilachale Premavasta Shikhaila Ashradana Chale. Is for the remaining 12 years, he stayed in Jagannath Puri and he taught everyone how to taste the transcendental mellow ecstasy of love of Krishna by tasting it himself. So just by the summary of this last shloka, which you see at the bottom right, Adi 1339, we see that the principles over here that we had mentioned earlier are fulfilled. That for the remaining 12 years, he stays over there. He taught everyone how to taste the transcendental mellow ecstasy of love of Krishna by tasting it himself. Okay, so summarily we can understand. But then, all of us are deep, thoughtful people. And there is something which bothers us with this whole narrative. And what bothers us is, you see, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and he comes to Nilachal, he sees Lord Jagannath and he rushes to meet Jagannath. He says, "Oh, this is the Lord of my heart. I have been waiting my whole life to meet you, Lord Jagannath." And he swoons, he falls down in ecstasy. In fact, he's so ecstatic that he becomes unconscious and it takes a long time to revive him. He's not even revived right there at the temple. He's brought to somebody else's house, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, and then the devotees come. It's a process that happens. And then for those 6 years that he was doing kirtan, he would go and see Jagannath every single day. His life would revolve around Lord Jagannath. His kirtans, his dancing, his cleanings of temple, everything that he did was revolving around Lord Jagannath, because Lord Jagannath was the Lord of his heart. He was right there. He could not bear to separate himself from the vision of the Lord, who stood right over there in Jagannath Puri. And yet, he goes on the tour, he comes back, and then his mood changes after some time. He says, "Where is the Lord? Why can I not see him? Where did he live? Why is he separated from him?" Every moment of separation is like 12 years. So what happens? Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feel separation? But Lord Jagannath is right there. He's right in front of him. It's not even a few 100 yards or so away from him. He was right there. But yet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving these feelings. So what happens? So in order for us to understand this, we have to go a little bit deeper, my friends. So when he comes back from this yatra, within a few days of his coming back, something happens. Advaita Acharya sends him this amazing riddle. And this riddle is given like this. This narration is given like this. Taroja proheli acharya kaheno thare thore, Prabhu matra bujena keho, bujite na pare. So Acharya Prabhu, he gives a Taraja Praheli, which is a sonnet. Okay. And he kahena, he says a sonnet in thare thore. Thare thore means it could be this, it could be that. So it's in equivocal language. Okay. Prabhu matra bujena. Only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand. Bujena. Keho bujite na pare. Nobody else can understand this. And so he sends it through somebody's hand. And then he says, first you do this. What do you do? Prabhura kohio amar koti namaskar ein nivedanatar charone amar. He says, first of all, you offer my obeisances. Koti namaskar. Hundreds and thousands of times. Where? At your lotus feet, my dear. Okay. My dear Lord, at your lotus. Ein nivedanatar. So now then you make this nivedan, this request, this at his lotus feet. Okay, right? And now the sonnet begins. Pay attention, my dear friends. Baula ke kohio loko hoile baul, baula ke kohio hate na bikaye chaul. He says, Baula means a madman. tell that madman, Baula ke kohiyo, loke hoilava, people have become mad. Baula ke kohiyo, tell that madman, hate na vikao chal. So there's nobody is buying any rice. So you see the translation over here. So it's like, please inform Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. Okay? So over here, the metaphor for rice is used, and it's metaphoric to the love of Krishna. That it's okay. The love for Krishna which you got, it can no longer be sold in this market. Why? Because everybody already has it. So don't worry about it. Okay. So now you can do something else. So you came over here, one of your goals was Dharma Samsthapan Arthaya, came to establish this Sankirtana. You also came to give what no other incarnation had given before, the highest form of the conjugal love for Krishna. You gave that. And so that is the prema is also there. So these two are done. So now you can do something else. But what can you do? Baula ke koyo kae nahi ka out, baula ke koyo iha kohiya chebao. So tell that baula ke koyo, tell that madman, kae nahi ka out. Okay, so people are no longer interested in the material world. Okay, so it's okay. Whatever you wanted is done. Baula ke koi, tell that madman, iha koya chebal. Who has said this? Tell him that another madman has said it. That's Advaita Acharya, who has also become mad in ecstatic love. So what is the meaning of this? That all your external purposes, remember our incredible definitions given by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and also another external definition given by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami in 1.4, that is done. The external purpose of giving Krishna Prema that you came for is complete. No more work remains. So now you can do something else, my dear Lord. You can come over here and enjoy the internal reasons why you came to this world. Okay? And remember now, what were the internal reasons? The internal reasons were these three. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. This is the reason why you have internally appeared. Now, these are the internal reasons why you have appeared. Please go ahead and enjoy that now. So for the next 25 years of his life, that's next 12 years of his life, 1/4 of his life, the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now did that. And so once this happens, once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reads this sonnet, his mood completely changes. সেই দিন হইতে প্রভুর আর দশা হইল, কৃষ্ণেরও বিচ্ছেদ দশা দ্বিগুণ বাড়িল. So সেই দিন হতে, from that day on, Prabhu's emotional state, our dasha hoilo. So his emotional state changed completely. And with what? With Vicheda dasha. Who's Vicheda? The Krishna of Vicheda dasha. His feelings of separation, Vicheda, from Krishna, Dviguna, Dviguna barilo. It doubled in intensity. And so now, what does he do in that? So Viraha Vakula Prabhu Uddvego Uthilo Gambhira Vitte Mukhe Ghoshita Dakilo. So when his intensity of separation from Krishna increased double, he felt incredible separation. And he was so distraught that in this incredible amount of anxiety, he would stand up and he would begin rubbing his face against the walls of the Gambhira. And he was saying, oh, where is Krishna? I can't see you. Why have you deserted me? Why did you go? Why did you ask me to come over here and now you have left? What did I do wrong? So with this incredible anxiety, he stood up and began rubbing his face. It is not just tears, it is a physical
expression of this enormous amount of internal, so-called internal suffering and lamentation that is going through. In where? Gambhira. What is Gambhira? Gambhira is this place. So this is situated in the house of Kashi Mishra. If you all ever get the opportunity to go to Puri, you won't necessarily be allowed to go, we won't be allowed to go into the depths of the Gambhira, but we can at least go and look at the top portion of the house. So this is in also known as Radhakanta Mata, and it is at the, I think it's at the southeast of the Jagannath temple. Okay, so this is that place. Okay. And this is externally what is Gambhira. But there's internally also Gambhira means something else. Gambhira is Gambhira. Gam means Gamane, Bhi is Bhiyam, Ra is Rati. Gamane or Gam is thinking of separation, okay? With great anxiety, Bhi, that's where you see Bhita and so on. With great anxiety, Ra, which is shown by her. So who shows this great anxiety while they're thinking of separation? Who is the one who undergoes this? So this is undergone by none other than Sri Radha. So you see, my dear friends, my dear Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not just stuck in Gambhira, in a physical place in the basement of the house of Kashi Mishra. He is stuck inside the chambers of Srimati Radharani's heart. He cannot escape. He cannot go anywhere. He's completely engulfed by it, encompassed by it. His whole being is just overpowered by it, overcome by it. This is what he has been waiting for. This is why he comes. To experience what she has been experiencing, and now he's experiencing it. He's inside Gambhira. So now, like this, for 12 years, Dvadasha Vatsare Aicha Dasha Ratri Dine Krishna Rasa Ashvadaye Duibandhushane. So for 12 years, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dvadas Vatsa, for 12 years, just like this, Aicha Dasha, Ratri Dine, day or night. Okay? But what is he doing? Krishna Rasa Asvadaye. So he's tasting the mellows of the Lord. Okay, he's tasting this Krishna Rasa. With who? Duibandhushane, with his two friends. Who are his two friends, these intimate associates? Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy. With them, he's over there. And he's crying out to them, and they're consoling him, and they're aiding in that rasa by reciting these beautiful prayers, because they understand his mood, they understand what he wants, what he's looking for, what he's experiencing. And then they are further, putting these beautiful nectars of honey in his ears. And he's looking, oh, tell me more, oh. You do this? Where are you gone? Why can't I see? Oh, I can see you, but yet you're so far, but still you're so near. I can touch you with my ears, my eyes, my mind, my heart, but yet you're not there. This feelings of beautiful separation, this Krishna Rasa is tasting. So you see, my friends, now we get a little bit of a deeper understanding of what was happening in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. What is this internal mellow that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami so beautifully says, summarizes in that 1.6 Adi Lila. Okay. So if we were to summarize, so in Gambhira, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited the mood of Srimati Radharani, especially this mood of viraha, separation. And there were these two associates who accompanied him, Sri Swarup Damodar, Sri Ramananda Rai. Okay. And these are the final 12 years of his pastimes. Okay. So, Sadev Prabhu, are you satisfied with this definition of why the Lord appeared internally? His internal reasons?
Well, Hare Krishna. I did not expect this, but it's a dose very much well nourished.
Okay. You said you're satisfied. Is that a yes or a no?
Very, very satisfied.
Okay, so since
And
you're very, very satisfied, Prabhu, let us go deeper.
yes,
Okay.
please.
So now let us go deeper, my friends. For us to go deeper, now we have to understand what is this mood that that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is experiencing. That he's saying, that we are saying that Radharani, Srimati Radharani is experiencing. And we talk about this broad aspect of prema. But prema, or this deep love for the Lord, is not just a one-step process. It is not a binary yes and no. You have it, you don't have it. It's a process. There's a very deep destination, very far away destination. So the development of prema, it starts with this feeling of rati, which is a sthai bhav. Sugar is compared to a sugarcane shade. Say, oh, I like this person, right? Oh, it seems attractive from a distance. Okay, rati. Okay. And then when it condenses a furthermore, you're looking forward to seeing this person more and more, being in that association more and more. It becomes a little bit condensed. So this prema is different from the overarching prema. This is like a subset of prema is also prema. Okay? So this is condensed rati. Okay? It's compared to that of a sugarcane. So it's grown a little bit further. And then when you are in the vicinity of this person, and through their words, through their actions, something happens to your heart. There's a flutter, there's a butterfly in the stomach, and it melts the heart, the way they speak, the way they look at you, the way it feels when they're in the vicinity of that person. So that is sneha. Okay? It's compared to sugarcane juice. So something has liquidated. What has liquidated? Their heart has melted. Okay, that's sneha. That's the next stage of prema. And then after some time, it goes more and more intense. And when it goes more and more intense, now you're making different types of plans and different arrangements to further be in the association of that person. And if that person is dissociating, you are making some other arrangements to keep that person with you. So there's some crookedness that comes in, and then element of possessiveness. Oh, you will be there at that concert. Okay, I'll also be there. Oh, you were planning to? Yeah. You're going that. Oh, I was also planning to go that way. So this crookedness arises due to increase in this sneha is compared to jaggery. Okay, so now the juices are being processed a little bit, becoming a little bit more complicated, a little bit more dense. And so that is mana. And then when this mana heightens, it leads to this feeling of pranaya, which is the feeling of oneness of one's mind, body, and words with the lover's mind, body, and words. Oh, you're thinking just the way that I'm thinking. You're finishing each other's sentence. I'm able to anticipate what is required, what is needed, what is wanted, what is not wanted. So that there's a feeling of oneness, two bodies, one soul. So this guy is compared to the unrefined raw brown sugar blocks. This is pranaya. When pranaya further heightens, you come into raga. Now this is, we are entering into a realm where it is difficult for us to anymore understand it. We draw parallels from this universe that we live in. So here, any distress related to Krishna starts appearing as joy. It seems unfathomable. How would that be possible? How can that be love? Oh, Krishna is, like, I'm missing Krishna. Oh, Krishna is gone over here. The gopis are feeling, in the morning he's leaving. We can't see him again till the evening, till the night. There's some distress. And yet in their heart, it's complicated. It's not just tears. This is a heightened sense of joy. Oh, the night is about to end, the morning is about to begin. There's some distress out there. Oh, Krishna, we have heard that he's engaged in some battle with there's some distress over here. Oh, but Krishna will be glorious. Oh, Krishna will come. Look at how beautiful he's looking in the early morning hours when the sun rises. Sun has not yet risen and yet is about to rise. So that is a different feeling. So it starts appearing as joy. So now those raw brown sugar blocks is clearing a little bit. It's becoming purified. It's become these white sugar blocks. This is the comparison given. This is raga. And then the heightened style of raga, heightened state of raga, okay, is anuraga. The constant newness in the relationship is experienced. We certainly cannot relate to this at all in our material. Even if we see that people who have been in love for a really long time, and then they get married, and after some time, everybody needs their space. So it's difficult to get this constant newness in the relationship. People do many different things to somehow or the other spice things up. But even when one has met the lover many times, it's as if they're meeting them for the very first time. So it is refined as compared to refined white sugar blocks. Okay. And then you come to Mahabhava, which is the highest stage of anuraga. It is not only is it new, it is very well shaped, it's very refined. The things which will heighten the ecstasy are put front and center. Everything else is discarded. And then the next experience comes in another wave. And that wave just overwhelms us like, you've ever been to an ocean, you stand knee deep or waist deep or go a little bit further into the ocean without necessarily swimming. And then this giant wave comes and it washes over you and you're gasping for breath. And then the next wave comes and then it's like that. It's this highest stage of anuraga. You're gasping with ecstasy, well-shaped, refined, white, compared to that white crystal sugar blocks. So you see, these are the different levels of prema. So now we can understand that the highest level of prema is this Mahabhava, which is experienced by Srimati Radharani. So is this what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing in Gambhira? Maybe. And so we see in Ujjvala Nilamani, Rupa Goswami Pad has given this evidence. He says, Vraja Devi Eka Samvedya Mahabhava Kyochyate. So he says that which is known as Mahabhav, the highest development of prema, is experienced by who? Exclusively by the damsels of Vraja. But my dear friends, we are not just talking about any damsel of Vraja over here. We are talking about Srimati Radharani. So if Mahabhav is felt by the damsels of Vraja, by all the gopis of Vraja, what is Srimati Radharani feeling? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came not just to experience what the damsels of Vraja are feeling. He came to experience what Srimati Radharani is feeling. So certainly we cannot stop over here. We have to go further. Okay, so let us go further. So you see, Mahabhava is divided further into two, Ruda and Adhiruda. So in, again, Ujjvala Nilamani, this translation is given, Uddipta Satvika Yatra Saruda iti Bhanyate. So he defines first Ruda Mahabhava. And he says that Mahabhava in which all 8 Sattvic Bhavas manifest clearly. What are these 8 Sattvic Bhavas? So Stamba is one of them. Stamba means petrification, being stunned. Okay, stamba. You would see sometimes that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu you would have read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he would become stunned. He's just become like statue. Okay, Sweda, that's the other one. Perspiration, romancha, horripilation, hair standing on end. Okay, or thrill. Swaraveda. Swaraveda is the changing of the voice, the breaking of one's voice. Vepattu. Vepattu is trembling. Vaivarnya, the color, the change of the facial color, you become pale. Ashru, weeping or tears. And pralaya, fainting or swooning. So these are these 8 sattvic bhavas. So they manifest clearly. And Adhiruda Mahabhava is all of these things in further refinement. So there are additional effects also will start showing up in addition to this Ruda Mahabhava. And for example, you would have read that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes his limbs would extend as if, there are all the bones have melted away, it will become rubbery, elastic. Or sometimes these limbs would just go inside his body like that of a tortoise. You must have you know, sometimes his breathing would just stop. The devotees, the fishermen, they would feel as if, oh, has he passed? Has he passed? What happened? He would be so faint, it's almost impossible to understand whether he's still alive or not. So these are further manifestations, further depth of Rudha Mahabhava. So now we know that yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu certainly exhibited a lot of these Arirura Mahabhava. So this must be the highest then. So, but then let us go a little bit further. Okay. So we look at the distinctions between these. You see, Arirura Mahabhava is experienced in union. It can be further divided into two, Modanakya and Madanakya, which are both experienced in union. But then why even have to if they are both? Well, because you see, one is expressed in union, experienced in union by the Vrajas, by the damsels of Vraja, gopis, by those beautiful, wonderful associates of the Lord who are the gopis, and one which is only in the purview of Srimati Radharani.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
If you may turn your
Video.
camera off for a moment, because we sometimes lose your voice.
Okay. Is this, can tell me if this is better, Prabhu?
This is better, yes.
Okay, I apologize then. So, okay, so I'll just repeat this last point in case you didn't get it. So we went into the further distinctions of Mahabhava into Rudha and Adirudha. Did we get that, Prabhuji, that what when I was talking about?
Yes, we did. Except that it was faint, but we did get it.
Okay. So very quickly, Rudha Mahabhava is where all the 8 sattvic bhavas are manifest clearly. And we very quickly, I'll tell you, the sattvic mahabhavas are stambha, petrification, sweda, perspiration, romancha, horripilation, so hair standing on end, swarabheda, voice changing, vepattu, trembling, vaivarnya, which is the facial color change or pallor, ashru, weeping, and pralaya, fainting. So these are experienced for people who are, for devotees who are exhibiting Rudha Mahabhava. And Adi Rudha is all of these plus something else. And these things which are more intense. So all of these 8 more intensely plus other things. And we looked at a couple of examples of this, where, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's limbs would become like elastic sometimes and elongated. And sometimes they would just go inside his body like that of a tortoise. So we gave a couple of examples like this. So then that is Arirudha Mahabhava. And so we were then getting into the discussion. So, okay, so is this what Srimati Radharani is experiencing? Is this what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is experiencing in Gambhira? And so we realized that Adirudha Mahabhava has these 2 things, Madanakya and Madanakya, which are both experienced in union. So one Madanakya Mahabhava experienced in union by and by Srimati Radharani, and then Madanakya Mahabhava experienced in union by the gopis. So there is definitely some distinction. What Srimati Radharani is feeling in union is a little bit further, is definitely more intense than that what is felt by the Vrajas, by the damsels of Vraja. So, but then there is some interesting point that is bothering us in the back of our mind. Because you see, if you go back to that shloka of Antya Lila that we read, Shedin Hoite, from that day on, which day on? From the day on that he read that sonnet, from the day that he went into Gambhira, something happened. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's emotional state changed markedly. And then what happened? He felt separation. He felt Vicheda Dasha, Krishnera Vicheda Dasha. If his feelings of separation, so where is union coming in? Union should not be over here. So definitely it is not what we have read so far. So then what is he feeling? So then we go into a further depth of this Mahabhava, which is called Mohanakya Mahabhava. So Mohanakya Mahabhava is the experience which is felt during separation. So my dear friends, this is what is felt by Srimati Radharani. This is what is experienced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While he's there, 12 years in Gambhira, rubbing his face against the walls and lamenting, where is Krishna? So the evidence of this is again given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Ujjvala Nilamani. He says, Prayo Vrindavaneshwaryam Mohano Yam Udanchati. This Mohano Yam, this Mohana Mahabhava, this variety of Mahabhava, which is experienced during separation of Krishna, arises Prayo most frequently in who? In Vrindavaneshwaryam, in Sri Radha. So my dear friends, now we have a much, much deeper, much better understanding of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is relishing in Gambhira. And what is he relishing? He's relishing these beautiful prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam that Ramananda Roy is narrating, that Swarup Damodar is talking about. They're talking about these beautiful pastimes. And then there are some of his own composition, like, for example, this Shastakam, which is also being sung and narrated to him, and he's relishing this. And so we will very quickly talk about this, do this. So this is written in Shardula Vikrititam. It can be sung like this. Cheto darpana marjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is one way to sing it. Another beautiful tune goes like this. Cheto darpana majanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Sapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is another way to sing it. And what does this mean? Well, cleanses the, let me see if I have the full translation. No, I didn't. So Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleansing the mirror of the consciousness. Bhava Mahadava.
Prabhu, we're losing your voice again.
Oh, really? Can you?
Okay, now it came back on.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, sorry about that. So
yes.
This incredible Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, it does many things. One, it cleanses the mirror of the consciousness, and it eradicates the massive wildfire of material existence. And it causes a moonlight diffusion that blooms the night water lily of all-round auspiciousness. It's so poetic. And it becomes the life and soul of the newlywed bride of all divine knowledge. That means it is the center of knowledge. It removes all ignorance from our lives, from our very existence. And it swells the ocean of joy, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, swells the ocean of, fills us with joy. And then it gives us the Purna Amrita Swadanam. It causes an experience of complete nectarian bliss. So, and where? Pratipadam, with every syllable of what? Of this Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Okay? And this Param Vijayate, therefore, the Sri Krishna Sankirtanam reigns supremely victorious. Okay? So if we were to summarize now finally, so why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear? Of course, Remember, Paritranaya Sadhanam Vinashaya cha Dushkitam Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, right? Those were the first three, answering prayers of his devotees like Advaita Acharya. Eradicate, diminish, replace the Mayavad in personal aspects of religiosity, okay? Vinashaya cha Dushkitam, to establish the congregational chanting, Sankirtan of the holy names of the Lord, okay? Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. Then the other template, why does God really appear? Well, to attract us towards Krishna and towards the process of devotional service of bhakti through his beauty, through his words, through his pastimes, so on. Then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's 1.4, to distribute the mellow of conjugal love, which nobody has given before. And then finally, the internal reasons, to relish the mood of Srimati Radharani in union with Krishna, to relish the mood of Srimati Radharani in intense separation from Krishna. So with this, I will pause my presentation and invite questions and comments from you. And I hope you all enjoyed this. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wow. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful sharing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't know what to say, but sometimes even a stone can be melted to some point. And I believe even those of us whose hearts are like stone had our hearts melted a little bit. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. I think, Prabhuji, Pandit Srivas Prabhu, you have some piety because the internet has been favorable so far.
That fight is yours, Prabhu, not mine.
Prabhuji, my first question is, of course, thank you so much. My first question is, I understand in Vrindavan, devotees there do not even call on Krishna's name. They call on Radhe, 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 Radhe. And I am wondering, Srimati Radharani, who is so much in love with Krishna, does she even have any other ear hearing anybody else other than Krishna? So if that is the case, why are we calling on her? She's already absorbed. I mean, I don't even know how to describe, but the description we got from this LILA, she is, excuse me to say, she is intoxicated. She is completely mad. She doesn't see anything. She doesn't hear anything other than Krishna. I don't know if maybe somebody calling Krishna might attract her to also turn her face because she had Krishna. But someone so absorbed about Krishna, how does she hear us when we call on her? Please.
You know, Srila Prabhupada very nicely discussed something similar that you mentioned with one of his disciples. Yes, Prabhupada, we walk around in Vrindavan and everybody they address us as with Radhe Radhe, like you said. How should we respond back? Srila Prabhupada said, we say Hare Krishna. And then he added, because we don't want to separate Krishna from Radharani. So that is our mood. We don't separate Krishna from Radharani. There is a very beautiful shloka given in when Prahlad Maharaj is conversing with his friends. I wish I had that at the tip of my tongue. And it is written in the Alankar, the meter Anushtup. In the Alankar Anushtup, it follows a certain process. In like there has to be this Guru followed by Raghu, and then Guru Lagu, like that. 8 syllables per line, 32 syllables in total, like Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Praja, that kind of thing, all 8 syllables, and then 8, 8, 8. And over there, but it doesn't have just 8 syllables. It is also has to be in a certain pattern. And there is one which is written, which recites in Anushtup, but it is violating the syllable position. So it's instead of being Guru Lagu, it becomes Guru Lagu Lagu, something like that to that aspect. I don't exactly remember the pattern, but I can certainly find that out. And the commentary in our Acharyas is given that, look, when Vyasadeva wrote this, and when Sukdev Goswami was narrating this, he could not bear to separate Krishna and Radha. So he broke the rules of grammar to put Krishna and Radha together so that it would. So this sentiment of keeping Srimati Radharani and Krishna together, it is a sentiment which is expressed by none other than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so at the beginning of this class, we gave this rasa statement, right? It's not a tattva statement, it's a rasa statement. Who is God? So God is this culmination, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the culmination of Radharani and Krishna together, where they both came together. So we are Gauriya Vaishnavas. We worship the Lord together. When he's expressing his emotions, he is Krishna who is expressing the emotion of Srimati Radharani. There's togetherness there as well. Even there is togetherness when, to the depth of the emotion. Krishna is there and yet not there. Krishna is present and yet so far away. There is this tension which is there of union and separation as well. So we are the followers of Gauriya Vaishnava. So we are then the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We cannot bear to see them separated. And yet in our heart, we feel the intense pang of separation. So we call it, but separation for who? Separation in the mood of the Lord's highest devotee, greatest devotee, Srimati Radharani. That calling out, my dear Lord, where are you? Where are you? You are the love of our life. You are the light of our life. You are the object of our love. You are the goal of our existence. Where are you? Please guide me so that I can eventually come to the level of serving you the way you would like me to serve, to realize the true purpose of my life. So this is how I would answer it, Prabhu. Please forgive me if I didn't say it properly.
No, very beautiful, because in fact, as you were speaking, I just remembered the first question you asked, who is God? And that I said Krishna, and you rightly said rasa definition is Radha Krishna. And so we don't separate the two. In fact, myself, I was thinking, how can anyone actually speak about, like any of our gurus, like we have lots of Vyasa Pujas, how can we speak about any of our present-day gurus without speaking about Prabhupada? It's almost impossible. And how can anyone speak about Lord Nityananda without speaking about Lord Chaitanya? It's almost impossible. So how can anyone speak about Krishna without Radharani? And in fact, somebody even said, I don't remember who, like we do not say Krishna Radha. We always say Radha Krishna. We don't say Ram Sita. We say Sita Ram. So, but my question here, Prabhu, is that my crazy mind is telling me that no matter how someone tries to be like another person, you may try, but you fall short. Of course, I understand that there is no difference between Lord Chaitanya and Radha Krishna. But Lord Chaitanya is trying to experience the taste of love that Srimati Radharani is getting from the union with Krishna. And we're getting all these descriptions. So I'm thinking that the bliss that Srimati Radharani actually derived from Krishna is probably much deeper than what Lord Chaitanya experienced. Could that be true? You are muted, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So first of all, your mind is, if you're going to say crazy, I would say like um, Advaita Acharya's sonnet where he says like, oh, we are all madmen because you're, mad with the love of the Lord in your heart. Maybe someday I can be crazy like you. But you're 100% right, Prabhu. So there are different depths of this understanding. One layer of understanding is we speak about one quality of prema, which is to see newness. Okay. And so the ecstasy that the Lord feels, that Krishna feels when he's with Srimati Radharani, that Srimati, vice versa, is not that they feel once and then the next moment it is a repeat. It's not like that. It's something deeper, and then deeper, and then deeper, and then deeper. It's like going in a spiral where you might externally feel like you're ending up at the same position, but actually it's three-dimensional. You've gone a little bit deeper and little bit deeper and little bit deeper. And this just goes on and on. It has been going on till eternity. After all, you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does come once in the day of Brahma, once in this 1,000 yuga cycles, and to do exactly this. And so it's not that, and of course, you could also argue that since this is happening in multiple universes, it's always happening also. So in that sense, that he's never completely satisfied or has totally all finished understanding what the mode of Srimati Radharani is in, finished tasting the mellows. He tastes the mellows, and he's like, by then, like he's still not fully satisfied. He has to taste more and taste more and taste more. And this is how this is going on and on and on and on and on. It is said, I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur had mentioned this in one of his essays, that the reason why jivas exist in the material universe is because of the love felt between Krishna and Radha. But your comment was even deeper than that. Your comment was, well, what about what Srimati Radharani is feeling? Is it, I believe, and you said you believe that it is probably more intense than what Sri Krishna is feeling. And that is also true. The recipient of the affection of the Lord, he feels the ecstasy many times more than the ecstasy which is felt by the Lord. And that when they feel that ecstasy, their heart is overcome, their being is overcome by joy. And seeing that, the joy, the Lord becomes even more ecstatic. And seeing that ecstasy, the devotee becomes even more ecstasy. So this transcendental exchange and competition is forever going on between the Lord and the intimate associates of the Lord. It is never really satiated. So that's another deeper layer of the understanding. So this gives us hope because we cannot fathom this, like so many other things in our experience in our limited experience in material universe. We come short of understanding this because we cannot experience anything like this. Maybe just for a minute amount of time when we are absolutely newly in love, or when the baby has just come into our life and so on, we feel that it doesn't matter whatever the baby does, we feel so much of love, and they do something else, we feel even more love, and this and that, the first walk and the first talk and so on and so forth, and so many things. Maybe that is a very, very superficial way for us to even begin to understand something like this. But if you extrapolate that and shed all the lust out of it, the personal expectations out of it, and just
just put the condensed, remember the condensation of prema, put the condensed prema over there, then maybe we will see how it eclipses all the other expectations. Okay. I hope this is a decent response to the beautiful expression that you gave.
Wow. Prabhuji, I cannot thank you enough, and I believe all the devotees feel the same way too. But wow. Dear devotees, I believe lots of the devotees, I wouldn't say knocked out, but they've had a technical knockout. Technical knockout. They don't really know what to say. They are already satisfied. I am, Prabhuji, see, this thing is kind of perplexing because the description of this love, of course, Lord Chaitanya is experiencing it because he is the Supreme Lord. He is the embodiment and the recipient at the same time. But is it possible for living entities like my crazy self here? I believe if I had 1,000th of that love, I would die. Because I remember some time ago, before I joined devotional service, I used to have a girlfriend. And whenever I heard the name of this girlfriend, my heart would jump in my chest cavity, you know. And this is just lust. So just thinking of somebody you love so much. And I'm also learning that, as a matter of fact, whatever we call love in this material world is actually not true love, because it is not renewing. You know, I'm a married man, and I do not see my wife being like a different person every single day, no matter how she polishes herself. You know, but that is not the case with Srimati Radharani and Krishna. Each time they see each other, it's like they look different. Even though they're the same, but they look different. It's ever renewing. There is one musician, I don't remember, but he has one song. It says the symptom, it says the reason why my love for you is unconditional is because it keeps increasing. But unfortunately, in this material world, maybe it's just my experience, but I can assure everybody that most of the time, our love for whoever is not increasing, because we see the same person, everything is kind of monotonous, same thing, redundancy, like that. But my question is, can an ordinary jiva experience this prema and still keep body and soul together? This is my last question, I believe.
Okay. So there are two levels to this love, the prema that we are talking about. So one is a level which is the dominion of Srimati Radharani. So that is her purview. So even the damsels of Braja, the gopis, are not privy to that very, very specific love, that exchange that happens between Srimati Radharani and Krishna. In the exchange that happens between Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Rai highlights this when he's talking, when he's trying to establish the position of Srimati Radharani. And he gives this example that, look, Lord Krishna is dancing in the Rasa Lila with these thousands of gopis. And all of a sudden, one of these gopis leaves, Srimati Radharani, because she's not able to fully express herself in the congregation of all of these, right? And when she leaves, Krishna leaves that congregation himself and then goes after her. And so this establishes that what she has, nobody else has. Krishna is madly I don't even want to say the word in love, but this is the love expressed and experienced by this divine couple is unparalleled. Okay, so certainly we can understand that we cannot enter this dominion ourselves. Now, that being said, everything else, which is the prema, as we understand the rest of it, certainly that can be experienced by people by the intense mercy of the Lord, because prema can be given by only somebody who has prema. So the Lord certainly has that, or the associates of the Lord who have that. Okay, and this is certainly possible. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, we see so many examples of where he himself and his associates, Nityananda Prabhu, for example, would freely distribute this love for Godhead to others. And we also see the narration that it's not that when the recipients received this beautiful love for Godhead, that they left their body. It's not like that. They were also still there, and they exhibited the symptoms of ecstasy at appropriate times, in appropriate circumstances. And many of them, not all of them, but many of them were also empowered to distribute this love to others. When we were reading this sonnet, we heard that Advaita Acharya saying that, look, the whole marketplace is already full of these mad people who are mad with love of Krishna. So then there are people who are present. They are active over there. This goes back to a deeper principle. Is it possible to achieve a liberated state of mind without so-called being physically liberated, without actually having to physically upend oneself from this material universe and go into the spiritual world? And the answer clearly is yes. We see evidences of it, as we see over here. We also see evidences of it from the Bhagavad Gita and in other places as well, where a liberated soul can live so-called in this universe and yet be completely transcendentally situated. And what does that transcendental situation even mean? That means that they are not influenced by the modes of material nature, by sattva guna, by raja guna, and by tama guna. As soon as these gunas are not influencing the way we think, the way we behave, our consciousness, our thought process, our false ego, none of those, then immediately we become liberated. It doesn't matter geographically where we are. So you should feel very encouraged that we are today, right now, right this minute, on the 3rd of March 2026, we are sitting over here. We are part of a movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who has come to distribute freely this love for Godhead. So prema is within our grasp. And if we stay true to the process which is defined by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and expanded by, through the Guru Parampara, through Srila Prabhupada's movement, if we stay true to that, if we stay simple, then there is no doubt that this prema is going to come to us. There is absolutely no doubt in anybody's mind. Even the greatest offenders, and we are not just talking out of sentiment, we are talking out of evidence that we see in different shastras, even the gravest offenders. Like, Prabhu, what can you do to offend? Can you lie? Can you cheat? Can you, I don't know, rob people, steal from them, or commit worse crimes? That's fine. Eventually, if you were to somehow or the other get to a position of surrender, either, well, definitely by the mercy of the Lord or the mercy of the Lord's associate, this is within your grasp. We see examples of Jagai Madai, and later on, Srinivas Acharya's, delivers these miscreants who are even worse than Jagai Madai, right? This is given in this beautiful book called Prema Vilas, which is written by one of the disciples. His name is Nityananda Prabhu as well. And so he talks about, I think, Chando, and I forgot the other person's name, but they are even more abominable than Jagai and Madai. They make Jagai and Madai look like saints. But so many such examples of people who, once they have committed themselves to this process, how they can move forward, how they can actually get the love for God, and not just theoretically, but practically, how they can achieve it. So Prabhu, if they can achieve it, it is, I think, your humility. You are way, way further, up the curve. I'm sure by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, someday we will all be there, joining you as well. Hare Krishna.
Well, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. My apologies. I had said my last question was the last question, but what you said has prompted another question. And please, if you may, give me 1 minute to
take as much time. I'm just whatever works for you works for me. I'm your servant, Prabhu.
You asked a question during the sharing of this beautiful katha, which I got wrong. You were asking another weapon of Lord Chaitanya, and I don't remember who got it right. It says his beauty. Now, lots of these impersonalists were not happy with how Lord Chaitanya was doing the Sankirtan, but his beauty just attracted them. It made them love him. I was fortunate, I must say, to also witness a bit of this about my own Gurudev, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. He was so attractive up to the point that even those who were against Hare Krishnas, when they hear him, when they see him, automatically they become friends with Hare Krishna. But I had also heard from Srila Prabhupada that he did not want to appear so beautiful. Not exclusively to say like dress code, but just physique. And he specifically mentioned one yogi's name, Paramhamsa Yogananda, that he did not want to be as beautiful, attractive as Paramhamsa Yogananda. Then people will follow him just because of his beauty. Okay, so in one sense, the beauty is attracting people who are even unfavorable, and then later they become favorable. But here, Srila Prabhupada is saying that he did not want to appear as beautiful as Paramahamsa Yogananda, whereby people just follow him because of his beauty and not because of the bhakti, which is nice, which is beautiful. Whatever Prabhupada did or said to me, perfect. But how do we, as living entities who are not very much advanced, also use some of these things that are given to us by virtue of past karma in the service of Krishna? I see that lots of the time those who are very beautiful do not use the beauty in serving Krishna. They use the beauty to serve their own senses. And so if there is a way, if there is a guideline where one can use his beauty, we're just talking about beauty, but one can use his wealth, one can use his strength to serve the Lord rather than serving his own self or Yeah, his own self. If there is a way we can do that, please, you may share with us. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So thank you, Prabhu. So I'll answer your question a little in an indirect way. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about devotional service as buddhi yoga, as intelligent yoga, buddhi. And when we embark on this spiritual journey, our objective is to stay true to two things. One, the processes of bhakti, and two, our servitude. So the mode which we are doing the bhakti, right? So it's like, for example, suppose we have a kid in our house and we are cooking the food for the kid. Okay, so that is what we are supposed to do is feed the child. So we are doing the right thing. But let us say while we are cooking, we are thinking, oh no, I have to cook again. It's so hot in the kitchen. My gosh, every single time I have to cook this. Why can't he or she be satisfied with the simple thing? I have to cook an elaborate feast. So in our mind, we are not very satisfied. While we are executing the service, we are executing it the right service, but in the wrong way. So similarly, so bhakti is doing things with our mind, with our speech, with our body, but also doing it with the right attitude, with the right. And this entire thing is called, so in the definition of bhakti that is given, so initially Uttama Bhakti is given, okay. Anya Vilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karma Adi Anavrittam, Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam. So the last part of it, Anushilanam, this is what the word Anushilanam means. Actually, this is the word Shilanam means. Anushilanam, Anu has a different meaning. It means again and again. Okay. So if we do this, if we are true to the principles of what we have to do and the right way to do it, the intelligence to do this, to utilize things which are awarded to us, to act in certain ways in different places, in different circumstances, is automatically awarded to us by the Lord. Lord situated in our heart or in the heart of others through their guidance. So the Guru in our heart, Guru, external Guru, okay? And so coming now to the specific point that you're talking about, let's say beauty or any other facility that we are given, how and when you will engage that in the Lord's service, then will become clear. So I'll give examples, specific examples to clarify this point. So you see when Indradumna Swami Maharaj, he would do these different festivals, right, in different places in Europe. He would make sure that, when just before the festival day, these group of wonderful kirtaniers and lovely, dancing Vaishnavis would go and distribute the pamphlets and attract people to come to the festival the next day, right? And you've seen videos of these in YouTube. And he would be very particular about who is dancing versus who is singing versus who is back over there, setting up the tent or cooking the prasad or whatever it is, and so on and so forth. So utilizing the right service for the right the right people to do the right service. And this aspect is also called dakshata. When we sing tatrati daksha tatiballabhasya vande guroshi charanaravindyam. The dakshata, this expertise. Okay. And so this expertise is not just necessarily from someone else external. This expertise can come from our within as well. One other comment that I would mention over here, since you specifically spoke about beauty, Srila Prabhupada's, I personally feel that was Srila Prabhupada's humility in which he said that, because so many accounts are there. Yeah. And even when we see videos of Srila Prabhupada, I find it to be majestic. Beautiful. The way he walks, his gait, the way he carries himself,
It's you can't take your eyes off him.
Yeah.
And of course, one could say, Prabhu, you're saying this because you're part of the group and so on. So it could be.
No.
Maybe I'm biased like that. It's possible, and I'm okay with that. With people saying like that, but I really find him to be so attractive. He's like a magnet, right? Versus some of the other examples which you gave, like, I don't know, Paramananda, whoever it was. I don't even remember this person's name because I never even found that person attractive. And anyway, regardless. So, but I hope the broader principle of how intelligence is manifested in us by the mercy of the Lord, if we stay true to the process of bhakti, and then whatever facilities we have, we are not just beauty or it could be enterprise. You see this when we read these accounts from some of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, like chasing rhinos and so on and so forth. You see, somebody would paint, somebody would just take photographs, and it's whatever quality they had. Somebody was good at calligraphy, so Srila Prabhupada engaged this person in creating these beautiful posters and things and what have you. Somebody was great, very conversant, very eloquent, very erudite, and Srila Prabhupada would engage them in different things, editing the books or the communication aspect of it. They're taking care of other aspects related to the verbal and the written communication and so on and so forth. And so on and so on and so on. Somebody's, you can engage. If you're wealthy, the intelligence will come on how to spend the right amount of money in the right circumstance with the right people, right? So and so on. So this intelligence is going to come on its own. We don't have to think about it, to dwell on that thought too much. Okay. I hope that answers your question to some degree of satisfaction.
No, it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So beautiful. In fact, there is one video of Srila Prabhupada I oftentimes play when we are having this Bhagavatam Katha. And it's not, excuse me, it's not just the bhajan. I just want to see Prabhupada. I don't know, but even though it's a video, and I never saw him in person, but in that particular video, I don't know how they took that video, but when I see him, his body is like, it's like ripened mango, so smooth, succulent. And I don't know. I don't want to say things that may make me feel like I'm somebody. I'm nobody, but whenever I play that video, I just like to look at Srila Prabhupada. I just like to look at him. So sweet, so beautiful. Well, Prabhuji, thank you so much. It's been about 2 hours of wonderful, wonderful sharing of Sri Gauranga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's golden. It's golden, that is incomparable. And if you may give us a concluding statement, and I will also plead with you, if you may share your prayer to Lord Chaitanya with us all today, we will really appreciate, because we need to pray to the Lord. He has chosen to descend into our domain to shower these blessings on us. We do not deserve, we do not have any qualification, and we probably may never have any qualification, but he's freely giving. If you may share your prayers to the Lord with us, and then we may bring this to a final closure. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
You're very, very, very welcome. None of what I said is mine. You already know that. Everything, whatever little bit we possess,
these trinklets of treasure that we possess, this valuable treasure that we possess, belongs to our Gurujanas, no doubt about that. And unlike what we see in the material world, the depth of our treasure, the breadth of our treasure increases when we share it. So please share it with everyone. And Prabhu, I already sent you the PowerPoint presentation. So you are more than welcome to distribute it however you want to. It doesn't belong to me. Idam na mama. It belongs to all of us. It is part of our parampara. It is given to us as it is our inheritance that we have gotten from our Gurujana. So why not? Why not we all enjoy it? You speaking about prayers, I'll very quickly share with you. Prayers is a very, very personal thing, but there are different ways and types of prayers, and I will very, very quickly mention this, so you will enjoy this probably. So there are these, as you can see over here, many different types of way that we can address the Lord. So one is by directly glorifying the Lord. It's called Samprarthanatmika prayer. And then there is a type of prayer which is, expressing. So the direct prayer glorifying the Lord is where, oh, the Lord, you're so beautiful. You look so radiant with this. And then you can talk about different features of the Lord. Your eyes look so, like lotus, but it doesn't have to be metaphoric. It could be something directly. They're filled with, this effulgence, this joy, and so on and so forth. And then you have this swa Dainya Bodhika, which is expressing humility and embarrassment. Like, I'm very fallen, right? And a very famous prayer, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More, Tuma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagote Na Samsare. Then the prayer goes, Moshama Patita Prabhu Na Pai Bear. Okay? So you will not find anybody more fallen than me. So expressing this humility and embarrassment. So this is also a very beautiful kind of prayer. Manasiksha, which is where the mind becomes a disciple. So you'll see prayers like Om Om Tu Kishar Manush. Then you'll have the prayers Vajahure Mana Srimandanandana. So, my dear mind, addressing the mind, please, you are is very difficult for me to control you. Actually, unfortunately, you have become my guru and I have been following you, and you don't always teach me the right things. So instead, please, can you allow me to become the guru? Can you become a disciple instead? Then I can teach you things that I have learned. And maybe then you can become my friend instead of my enemy. And I will also become your friend. Then there are these Vilatmika kind of prayers, statements of supreme lamentation. Oh, my dear Lord. So a lot of the prayers that you read in the Bhagavatam were prayers by the gopis, the entire Gopi Geet. There are many, many other prayers like that, supreme lamentation. Then the prayers were revealing the greatness of the Vaishnavas. Such and such person is so great, that person is so great, and so on and so forth. Then Shri Guru Vaishnava Vignapati Rupa. So these are prayers of submission and glorification of the Vaishnavas, especially of the Guru. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Shada, Arna Koriya Mane Asha. So these are the Guru is so wonderful, the Vaishnavas are so wonderful, that kind. Then there are prayers of expressing the desire to live in the holy places, Sri Dhama Vase Lipshatmika. Then they're expressing the desire to practice devotional service, Sadhakade, as a devotee, like I want to do this. Then desiring to attain Siddhadeha and serve Krishna in his spiritual body, in the devotees. This is in Siddhadeha, like Radha Krishna Pranamore, Jugala Kishore. And then you say, I want to fan them. I want to, give this tambula, this beetle nut thing to them. I want to seat them on this wonderful asana. So you're already expressing the desire to serve them directly or to assist in the service, in their direct service, right? And then, of course, you have the akshepa. So you have akshepa, you have great lamentation. So extreme grief and sorrow that we have fallen into this material. Na janiya shunya bish khainu. So I didn't know and didn't janiya shunya bish khainu. Even after knowing everything that I have to do and not have to do, I drank poison instead of why? By not chanting your holy name. So what a fallen person I am. What a silly person I am. So these kind of moods of prayer are very important. And as you can already see, Prabhu, that it's not that we are overcome by one particular mood, just like we are not overcome by one emotion when we speak to our loved ones. Our emotions change with time, our mood changes with time, and therefore our prayers can also change with time. And it is not universal to everyone, right? What I'm feeling, you may definitely not be feeling, and vice versa. So, with this template in mind, what I would say is construct your own prayers, construct your own conversations. If you really ask ourselves, do we converse with our loved ones like our spouse or our child? Yes, we do. Do we converse with our friends? And yes, we do. We converse with our neighbors? Yes, we do. We converse with our colleagues? Yes, we do. Do we converse with people who we don't like? No, we don't. We try to avoid that. But then do we converse with God? No, not so much. Why? Why are we avoiding that? Do we not like that person? Do we not like God? So then why are we not praying to him? Why are we not having this conversation? Why are we not writing anything down? So our acharyas, our guru janas, the great Goswamis, the wonderful lineage that we have, they wrote prayers, not just for us to recite them verbatim, but to also, so of course, all of those things, but also to inspire us to write our own, to go out of our way. And even in the initial stages when the kid is there and he or she writes this, when they're 5 years 6 years old, they write, roses are red, violets are blue, whatever, and my dad I love you, or my mom I love you. And they give this simple four-liner. You're not expecting them to write a sonnet, you're not expecting them to use amazing words or to express deep emotions. Just that simple prayer just melts your heart. And so the Lord is not looking to us for eloquence. He's not looking to us for depth, for clarity, for philosophy. He's looking to us for innocence, for a simple expression and deep expression and true expression without duplicity, without hypocrisy of who we really are, how we absolutely feel. So do that. So this is what I would inspire everybody to do, that write your prayers and recite them frequently from the depths of your heart, and take inspiration from today's lecture, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what completely engulfed in Gambhira. Let this be your Gambhira, where you're also holding the Lord close to that. This is in your DNA. This is a sacred space. And just immerse yourself for that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes in your day. Today is a wonderful day. This is once in 540 years. Can you imagine this? Take this sankalpa that from today onwards, for the rest of eternity, for as long as you have your mind in order, you just will give 10 minutes of unalloyed division. Whatever time, I'm not saying 10 minutes means 10 minutes, whatever time you can possibly give, unalloyed completely. You are not anybody's father then, or son then, or wife then, or husband then, or friend then. You are just at that point belonging to the Lord. That small amount of time. But during that time, he is all yours and you are all his. That's the 12 years of your life, of the equivalent to the 12 years of Chaitanya. When he is all yours, you're all his. He's not looking at any other preoccupation. Neither should you. So do that, Prabhu. So this is what I would also try my best to construct and share. Okay, I will leave it at that. Okay, if that is okay with you.
Very much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so
very much for today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sadhu David, thank you so much. Prabhuji has so gracefully shared the PowerPoint with me freely. But whoever may be interested, if you want to get it from me, I just charge. I charge $9.99. $9.99 to share. Please, if you're interested, you just let me know and we will share together. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We're going to humbly request all the devotees to carry mute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude to our beloved speaker, His Grace Pandit Srivas Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all about the transcendental appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most magnificent incarnation we can ever imagine. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Panchatattva
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Mahotsava ki jai.